Local television reporter Joe Bruno has been doing extraordinary work on that Republican-run election fraud scheme in that congressional race in North Carolina. Here he is interviewing one of the people who was hired to illegally collect absentee ballots.
So what were you doing for these?
I was helping McCray pick up ballots.
Eason says McCray Dallas paid her $75 to $100 a week to go around and pick up finished absentee ballots. But after picking them up, she didn't mail them. She gave them to McCray Dallas.
Did all the people who voted, did their votes count?
I guess. Like I said, I don't know nothing what happened after I dropped them off.
Joining us now, Jason Johnson. He's the politics editor at TheRoot.com and an MSNBC contributor. Jason, the details here that Joe Bruno's uncovering have just been extraordinary. He's done interview after interview with voters, with people who were paid to illegally collect these ballots, collecting blank ballots, which they then presumably filled out for the Republican. This was all paid for by the local Republican Party and by the Republican candidate.
Yeah, there's so many levels to this, but Lawrence, I want to say the same thing you were saying. Let's start off. This is what local press is about. The work that's being done in North Carolina right now is famous. This is not a story that national news would be able to dig out this level of details. Unfortunately, the kind of fraud they're talking about actually happens all the time, especially in rural parts of the South. There was a case of this in 2004 with a Democratic primary where the Democrats actually asked then-Governor Mark Sanford of South Carolina to completely eliminate a primary because absentee ballots have been stolen. So what you have happening right now is basically Republicans who've been complaining about voter fraud all throughout 2018 basically have a candidate, Mark Harris, who has used shady connections to take absentee ballots from people. And just so everybody understands, how is this possible? If you apply for an absentee ballot, your name becomes public information. So if you have a shifty business person or a political operative who wants to go downtown to the state election board and find out where you are, they can go to your home, they can give you some sort of story, and they could potentially steal your ballot, all paid for by the local Republican Party in North Carolina.
Charlotte, the Charlotte Observer editorial is saying, unless new evidence somehow clears the clouds hanging over this election, the Board of Elections should toss out the 9th district results. And Jason, the Board of Elections is empowered to order a new election.
Yeah, and thank goodness, Lawrence, because this has to do with another issue that we've been talking about lately in Michigan and Wisconsin. In North Carolina, since 2016, Republican legislators have been trying to weaken and basically absolutely destroy the State Board of Elections' ability to step in when you have cases like this. Unfortunately, because of Democratic Governor Cooper, he's won several court cases, so now the Board of Elections can get involved. I think this race can be thrown out. In fact, I think that Pettinger, who was the Republican who lost in the primary to Mark Harris, he might have a case here that maybe he was robbed as well. It's amazing that not only do you have a Republican Party that claims that they're concerned about voter fraud and voter integrity, who is knee-deep in this situation financially, but it's being done by a candidate who is also a pastor, supposedly a man of God and integrity, might possibly be responsible for stealing not one, but 2 elections from the people in North Carolina.
Yeah, the statistics, when you hire McCray Dallas on your campaign, you win the absentee ballot count by extraordinary numbers, 437 to 17 in the primary that you're talking about this time. It is just an extraordinary set of numbers. They make no sense other than the product of this criminal enterprise that Joe Bruno and other reporters are uncovering there. Jason Johnson, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Tonight's live.
Thanks for watching. To see more videos, click right here, and subscribe.